Knightline is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios. This is Knightline 177 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining me as always,
Trylko. Hello, everyone. Our position-by-position reviews begin with the quarterbacks. We're talking UCF and the Orlando Apollos with former Knight Jordan McCray. Hoops insider Ben Stout on UCF's 7th consecutive win Sunday. Plus, we launched the 2nd annual Nightliner Awards and Danny White and the Orlando Magic. That's an Ask Knightline. But first.
We know, it's not New Year's Day. However, it's time to start looking ahead to a new year of UCF football. Before we know it, National Signing Day will be upon us. Spring camp will open. The spring game will be played. This week, Knightline begins to look forward. Our position-by-position reviews, previews begin with the quarterbacks. And, I mean, the whole quarterback situation still is not done, I don't believe. I'm not sure if we're going to get a grad transfer or another kind of transfer or not get one. It's all kind of still up in the air. So,
But you mentioned National Signing Day. It feels like we just went through the early signing period, and this thing comes right at you February 8th.
And I think that new National Signing Day overshadows completely the old National Signing Day in February, personally. So, I mean, I don't even know if we have roster space for anybody. Obviously,
there's just a couple of spots, right?
Yeah, obviously, if Wimbush from Notre Dame that visited this weekend, supposedly, I mean, obviously, if somebody like that wants to come in, we probably have space. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how many more people that we need to sign or can sign as far as National Signing Day.
Well, let's talk about the other thing that was newsworthy. You mentioned Brandon Wimbush, but Mackenzie Milton, who, by the way, was captured on the Jumbotron at the basketball game Sunday, sitting next to new freshman enrollee in January, the Hawaiian standout, Dylan Gabriel. He was up in the box, sitting side by side with Mackenzie, taking in men's basketball action. Early enrollee in January is interesting for him. But Mackenzie making news. He posted on Instagram some leg press, 40 pounds, just a couple of weeks away from what will be his 5th surgery.
Yeah, a little bit of physical therapy, trying to get the scar tissue and stuff worked out of that knee so it doesn't get any worse. You got to keep it moving, even if, it's not complete. Still have to keep things moving. So, yes, it's a positive sign that he can do that. Yes, everything so far has been positive. We shall see. I mean, I still don't think that he will play this next year at all. I don't think he'll be ready at all. So, our quarterback situation is interesting, and I've said this before. I said this before the Fiesta Bowl. I don't personally think we even need a grad transfer quarterback. I don't. I think that Mac can do it with no problem, personally. He's got all spring, all winter now, I guess it is, all spring, and then, the rest of the season until football starts to get things ready. I mean, he's got a lot of work that he can do. He's going to have a lot of work with the ones that he didn't have previously. He's shown us that he can do it. I don't think that we need a transfer, and I don't think that that any of these big transfers personally are gonna come here. They've mentioned all these names, Jalen Hurts and all these different people. Brandon Wimbush. Wimbush actually visited here. I don't know if Hurts ever even did.
The Georgia quarterback had mentioned that UCF was
but
amongst
that was
his possibilities.
very quick that he went there to where'd he go? Ohio State.
Yeah.
But
you think the fact that UCF is coming up in some of this talk,
no, that's good.
Makes it a relevant conversation at least.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I guess. But we don't really know anything. But I'm going to go with the guys that we have. Dylan Gabriel, I think will take some time to get things going. A year behind Mac, maybe as the second string quarterback, will be good for him. He can learn a lot. He can get in the garbage time. I have full and total confidence that Mac can do it, though. He's obviously not McKenzie. It's a little bit different, but he brings his own things to the table. He's a big dude. He can really sling the ball. He can run. He's not as nimble and can't make as many things happen in the pocket or outside of the pocket as McKenzie did, obviously. But he can step up in the pocket and throw the ball, or stand in the pocket and throw the ball. And if you're not playing LSU, as we saw, he did a damn good job of that against Memphis, who was really, honestly, the best offensive line or defensive line that we had played, except for LSU. We're not going to play LSU every week.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned you don't think we need a grad transfer. If UCF were to bring one in, though, what would your reaction be?
Fine and dandy. We've had grad transfers before at positions, I just don't know if it's going to be, that big of a deal, honestly. If it's not somebody that can immediately come in and just take the entire thing over, or maybe even if they do come in and try to take stuff over and, somebody tells them that they're going to start, I don't know if that's actually going to happen. It's competition. I would assume that every position is open until somebody wins it, I would think.
One of our questions, I moved up from Ask Knightline from @GoldenKnight_2. Do you think Wimbush would be a good fit for UCF based on what you know of his skill set?
Honestly, I don't know anything about him. I really don't. I have spent all my time watching UCF and concentrating and knowing as much as I can about UCF. I don't watch most of the other teams, to be honest with you, except teams that we're playing. We haven't played Notre Dame. We haven't even, Notre Dame hasn't been in our conversation, so I don't know anything about him, to be honest with you. I know that he was rated pretty high coming out of high school, but why is he not the starter at Notre Dame? He wasn't the starter this year. There has to be a reason for that, so, I don't know.
Well, our sample size for Darryl Mack is so small. We just didn't see a whole lot of him. And while he did get those practices, especially with UCF playing in a New Year's Day Bowl, the season ending December 1st in the American Championship, 30 days, some 15 practices, that's still not the same as going through spring camp, a spring game,
Absolutely
fall camp
not.
With the ones and really getting those reps.
Absolutely not. The people that are ragging on him and saying that he can't do this, that's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Well, there was less ragging on him after he rallied the team and beat Memphis in the American Championship
there was a lot
game.
of ragging on him after this whole LSU thing, and that's crazy, personally. Give the kid a chance. Think if it was McKenzie Milton and he was put in that position his first year playing. It would not have turned out good, trust me. You saw it in the Cure Bowl.
Yeah.
And that was against Arkansas State. That was not against LSU.
As a freshman quarterback, his reaction time, McKenzie's played in all of those games. He's got that experience. That second and a half, 2 seconds of knowing when to release the ball and all of that, that comes with experience that Darryl just doesn't have yet.
When your offensive line protects you, you have a lot more time to think and everything else. And when his offensive line was protecting him, at even certain times in the Fiesta Bowl, that pass that he threw to Gabe Davis was insane. That pass was beautiful. It was perfect. That's a touch pass. That's a long pass. And that's a thing that shows that he has the arm strength and the accuracy to do it. You saw what he did in the Memphis game. It looked like we didn't miss a beat except for his fumbles. He's got to get that under control, obviously, but that can be taught. He hasn't had enough time.
Lest we forget Mackenzie's start with Maryland. Remember
exactly.
that? Was it 5 fumbles?
Exactly. That's maybe even 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's stuff that gets learned. You learn to be more confident. You learn to be, I should switch the ball into my chest if I'm going to run with it or whatever, like hold on to it. Grab it differently. Hold it differently. Maybe wear gloves, whatever, There's quarterbacks out there that wear gloves. I know everybody's going to be like, oh, my God, he said wear gloves. There's quarterbacks out there that wear gloves because they have trouble holding onto the ball.
As we saw with the need for Darryl Mack to step in when McKenzie went down in that Black Friday game in Tampa, you also, assuming Mack were to win the starting job, you do need a competent, capable backup quarterback because you're just one injury away from that guy coming off the bench and having to play, as Mack did, and stepped in ably.
And we have no
absence.
idea what Dillon Gabriel can do. We know what he's done in high school. We know all that stuff. We don't really know too much about Q either. Quadri Jones.
I just saw him briefly.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him throw once. Yes, there's not a lot of depth. But has there been a lot of depth the last couple of years? Was there a lot of depth with McKenzie this year? Was anybody behind him proven? No. For the last 2 years, no one behind him had been proven at all.
To your point on Mack, I think if you remember back to the game at ECU when it was will McKenzie come out, where they were playing dancing on the sidelines, and then Darryl came out, and we were all, is McKenzie seriously hurt? And then Mack
obviously he
won that game for
right.
them. He steps in under the most adverse of circumstances, just, very emotional, gut-wrenching circumstances in Tampa, and carries the team to a victory. Confidence rising for him, for the fan base, and then, some turnovers, first half at Memphis,
the Memphis
and watch
game,
how
and that is what he is capable of. He is capable of everything that he did in that Memphis game. The LSU Fiesta Bowl was a completely different thing. That was doomed from the start because the offensive line and defensive lines couldn't, handle that. You win in the trenches. That's what happened there. He didn't have any time to do anything back there. When he did, he threw a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about Darryl Mack. I feel like of the limited sample size we've had from him, there's a lot to like about him in the future, and that future is the 2019 season just ahead of us.
And you can go back and watch his high school tape. I mean, maybe you can find somebody to talk to and see if he had fumbling problems in high school. I doubt it. Because he was spectacular in high school. He just hasn't, the game in college hasn't slowed down for him enough yet. He doesn't have enough experience. He doesn't have enough snaps, period. He'll be fine. Trust me.
How do you expect the offense may change a bit with Darryl under center and not McKenzie?
I think I personally think that it would run the way that Josh Heupel wants to run his offense a little bit better with him, and I've said that from the beginning because he's not a guy that you really have to worry about running around out there as much. He's much more of a pocket passer type guy, and I think that that's what Heupel wants. Dillon Gabriel's more of a pocket passing guy. He does not have the wheels that McKenzie does. He has the arm. He may even have more of an arm from obviously high school state records in Hawaii. He leads all of them over Tua, over Milton. That's big.
That is big.
I don't think he has the wheels, though, that McKenzie does. And obviously, if you have a guy like McKenzie that has those wheels, you use them. You use the running ability. But if you have a guy that has the arm strength and the ability to stand in the pocket, the ability to use the pocket, you use that as well.
So as we put a bow a little bit on 2018, a year in which Mackenzie Milton went into the season as a Heisman contender ends up with many serious surgeries in front of him, but still the hope that he'll one day suit up again for UCF. We saw the emergence of Darryl Mack, and I don't know that there's a lot of question marks going into spring camp. Just the opportunity to see guys get more reps and more experience. No matter what happens come fall, he's still not going to have any more starts under his belt than he has had at the end of the Fiesta Bowl. He's just going to have single digits on one hand.
And when
you can count
Mackenzie
him.
Milton started, he didn't either. So, I mean, think about that. It's just the same situation that we were in before. I mean, I don't think that we're in any trouble. I just think that this is going to work itself out, whether there's a grad transfer or not. I personally don't think that you should do that to Mac. I think that Mac should have the opportunity to win. I think that Mac should have the opportunity to run things because he's been there. He's been there, standing on the sideline, learning in practice. I think he should have that opportunity. I think that it would hurt his confidence a lot, to be honest with you, if they brought somebody in to start.
And again, that talk of someone is because players have mentioned, such as Wimbush, visiting UCF and considering UCF.
It'd be great if we did, and dude, Wimbush, if he comes, may wind up as the backup. You never know.
Which I think is a key part of a possible grad transfer, is not so much unseating Darryl Mack, but pushing him, really giving him some competition. And I think for Josh Heupel and the team, you want a lot of confidence in who your backup quarterback might be.
Yeah, and I just don't know if you would want to hurt his confidence if he was going to be the starter. You know what I'm saying? If it was me out there and I knew that they were bringing in this big name guy to push me or not. I mean, I would obviously try to beat him, but then I would be in the back of my head. I would be thinking, wow, they don't have much confidence in me if they're going after this guy. And a grad transfer, most of the time, especially after they're coming out of a school like Notre Dame, wants to go someplace and start for that last year that they have available to play. It's a 1-year-and-done deal, usually.
And there's a difference between a Jalen Hurts, obviously, and his body of work with Alabama.
Right.
And then, Wimbush, who's not had quite the volume and body of work.
Like I said, I'll have to, I guess, look at some tape or whatever on him, but I don't...
If he ends up at UCF. If not, it's just a name.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's at least interesting.
I mean, our last guy that transferred as a quarterback, what does he do? He holds the freaking clipboard. It's not a grad transfer, of course, but do we know his name? Do we know the guy that stands on the sideline that was a grad or not a grad transfer, but he was a transfer from where was it? It was Wake Forest. Do you know his name?
Hayden Kingston.
Yeah, well, you had to look that up, but I mean. These transfers, it doesn't matter where they transfer or where they're, I don't even know why he transferred here, to be honest with you. He's seen the field once, I think. One time, I believe. And I missed it because I wasn't watching, obviously, because you had to tell me.
Garbage time.
You had to tell me that he came in. And I was like, really? Wow, that's incredible. I mean, he's been with a green hat on the entire time on the sideline or whatever. So, I don't know.
I mean, one of the storylines to watch, I think, is just to see how Darryl grows in the offense. And, if he gets a push, either from Quadri Jones or Dylan Gabriel or a possible grad transfer. And to me, it's Darryl Mack's job to lose and then a battle for who would be the backup quarterback.
I would be shocked if Dylan Gabriel couldn't push him a little bit just because of his ability to play the game. I mean... These kids, obviously, that come from Hawaii, just like Milton, like Tua. Tua started as a freshman there, not at first, but still was a freshman when he started. These kids are very, very knowledgeable football players and very well-coached football players coming out of Hawaii. So we'll see. I mean, I think that could be the battle. If there's any battle, unless we get some kind of a transfer, I think the battle will be Dylan Gabriel and Darryl Mack.
And again, props to Coach Heupel and recruiting and landing Gabriel in that early signing period, because that was something fans were anxious about, who's in the pipeline at the quarterback position. And I think we collectively feel a lot better now to ink someone of his stature coming out of Hawaii and as you mentioned, surpassing so many of the records Mackenzie Milton set while in Hawaii.
Tua, really. Mackenzie was 4th on the list. Tua's 2nd. Dylan Gabriel's 1st. So I don't know who's 3rd. I don't know if it's the guy that plays for that played at Oregon, won the Heisman Trophy.
Mariota.
I don't know where he's at on the list. Maybe he's 3rd. I'm not sure.
Well, some other football notes. How about Josh Heupel? I love the name of this award, by first-year head coach of the year by the Football Writers Association. We go back.
I think that was designed for Heupel to win, personally, because he should have won Coach of the Year, personally.
Well, yeah. I mean, to mention that, his consideration for Coach of the Year nationally, right, in his first year.
Well, and who did they give it to? They gave it to Kelly. And what did he do in the playoffs? That team was horrible.
Yeah, not
horrible.
So good. UCF finishes 11th in the AP poll. Would have liked to have seen him no lower than 10th.
I'm happy with 11. I'm happy.
12th in the USA Today coaches poll. By the way, 7th in the Colley Matrix.
That's good.
So 1 year 1, next year 7th in the Colley Matrix.
I mean, whatever.
And what do you think about this one? ESPN's way too early top 25. UCF at 14.
Good. Perfect. At least we're not going to be lower than that, because whatever happened, the only excuse that they can give this year for ranking us lower than we were before, or not putting us in the top 25 or something crazy like that, would be that we don't have Mackenzie Milton.
I think that's going to cost us a couple of spots
in
those polls.
But, I mean, whatever. That could change a million times by...
But I feel pretty confident that
25 times.
That this is going to be a team that is ranked in the top 25, and it becomes a question then of how high they start out.
Lots of people coming back. And coaching Coaching continues. We don't have a coaching change, thank God. So that's a big deal.
A lot less stressful than it was a year plus ago.
Yes.
Yeah, the continuity is nice.
Continuity is the word that
That's the big word of the day right
for,
there.
And I couldn't think of it.
But to enter in that way too early top 25 at 14, again, even if they're not ranked, even if they're 17, 18, 19, 20, it starts out higher than they would a year ago.
I have a feeling that we will be talking about quarterbacks again before the spring. A lot. I think that this will be a topic that will be talked about a lot. I'm just predicting that.
Okay. Okay. Well, we kick off with quarterbacks. It's an important position. We will, in the weeks and weeks ahead, break down every position group. We've talked about some losses on the line, so when we get to those positions and maybe project out some depth chart, it'll be interesting when we get to some other positions.
Before we move on from football, because I know we have other stuff to talk about, I just want to say that my Kansas City Chiefs, I know that there's a few listeners out there that can understand what I'm talking about, are in the AFC Championship game next week.
They're pretty fun to watch.
And due to Kansas City being in the AFC Championship at home next week in Kansas City, we will not be doing Knightline on Sunday night.
What are you going to do? You go bowling or something?
No, I'm watching that game. I am not sitting here trying to do this while watching that game.
No,
I apologize, everybody, but next week we'll have to take a little break to watch my Kansas City Chiefs beat the Patriots at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kansas City because they're fun to watch. I know you like them. I'm a little over the Patriots, so I'd love to see them go to the Super Bowl. And a matchup with either the Saints or the Rams would be a pretty exciting Super Bowl.
Well, the Rams, that game was the highest scoring game on Monday Night Football ever.
Was that the 54-51 or something like that?
I think it was more than that.
Well, Kansas City lost that, didn't they?
By like 3 points or something like that, or less.
They lost to New England, too, right?
Lost to New England, but that was early in the season. Yeah. It's all good.
The quarterback's something else.
They can't beat us. I don't think that anybody can beat us at home like that. The Chargers actually beat us at home, who the Patriots beat today, which was, I think, our only home loss this year. So, yeah, it's just, I think they've come a long ways since they played the Patriots early in the season. So, and it seems like all the writers and stuff that are already giving their predictions early when they knew the matchup today are all picking the Chiefs, it looks like. So, Mahomes is insane. The quarterback, he's going to change the game, I think, for the better.
He throws some wild, just across field, and he's not even
Left-handed,
looking at a guy.
Left-handed, he'll throw him. Right-handed, he'll throw him.
Not for this to become Chiefs talk, but do you have confidence in Andy Reid winning this game?
Absolutely.
You think he can outduel Bill Belichick?
I love the Walrus. Absolutely. I love Big Andy.
Do you like how he turned on the fans and said, knock it off, throwing snowballs?
I love it. That place is crazy. I've been there a million times.
Have you been there in a cold weather game like that?
Yeah. I was dying yesterday watching that game. I wanted to be in Kansas City so bad.
It's known as one of the loudest stadiums in all of football.
It is insane. And I've been where they show the camera, that really wide angle, and they're way up in the corner. I've sat in that seat. There's one seat at the top.
You've sat in that one seat?
I bought that seat one time just because I wanted to sit in that seat. In every corner there, it goes from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And I actually bought that seat.
Is it a weird angle? Or
you're right in the corner. You're in exactly the corner of the stadium.
Turn around,
awesome.
You look out over the top of the stadium.
Yeah, you can look out over the top, and then you can still see the sight lines in that stadium are awesome. It's 83,000 or 87,000, but it just...
That's the night game, right? That's the night game?
I think so, yeah. Well, yeah, because it would be the time we were doing I think it starts at 6 something or whatever. But
you've got to get past the Patriots first. But your preferred matchup, you'd prefer to see Kansas City and...
I would love to see Kansas City and the Saints, personally.
Some UCF guys in a Super Bowl would be good for
Clayton Geathers. Clayton Geathers did a great job for Indianapolis the other night in that game. His name was mentioned a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Also... There was a cow in that game, and I was rooting against him, but he is a great football player, Marlon Mack.
Yeah, he is a good football player.
He gave us trouble while he was here, and he gave Kansas City a little bit of trouble yesterday. I don't care how much I hate him because he's a cow. He's a good football player, and I'm happy that he's doing well in the NFL.
I do find we talked to Jordan McCray about this coming up on,
Oh, yeah, we have Jordan McCray. Did we say anything about that earlier? Yeah, I forgot.
We talk about razzing some of his statewide teammates and rivals. Do you hate the Cows a little less when they go into the pros? I find I hate Mac a little less than when...
Right, yes, because he's not, technically... I was glad to see him leave. I'm glad to see Darrell Henderson leave.
And Pollard.
And the Memphis guys, absolutely. I was glad to see their quarterback leave a couple of years ago, and he's playing wide receiver or running back in the NFL as well. So, yeah.
Well, we're going to be talking football on Twitter. We're second annual Nightliner Awards. Some finishing touches on the categories. You can post up to 4 people in those Twitter polls, and I know some people have gotten on me about posting on other polling things, and I'm not learning all that.
Nah, we're doing it on Twitter.
I'm just going to do it on Twitter. Best offensive lineman, best defensive lineman, and other categories. We'll begin that Monday on Twitter at UCF_Knightline. So vote early, vote often from multiple devices. No, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it takes. The Twitter Mafia knows what to do.
The Twitter Mafia. Sharing more information about UCF. 25 UCF graduate programs rank in the top 100 in the nation in U.S. News and World Report's Best Colleges 2019 guide. That from information that UCF distributed at the Fiesta Bowl. I'll continue to share those in the weeks ahead. From Deltona to Detroit, across Knight Nation, Nightline, your source for the best UCF conversation, continues in just a moment as we welcome former Knight Jordan McCray. He's in talking about keeping his professional dreams alive with the Orlando Apollos. Stay with us.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Nightline and Nightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Jordan McCray, a standout on UCF's offensive line from 2010 through 2013, is keeping his dream of playing professional football alive with the new Orlando Apollos of the Alliance League. Jordan joins us now on the Knightline hotline. Jordan, welcome to Knightline.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me.
Before we get into talking about the Apollos and training camp as you join us from San Antonio, how about our Knights? 25-game winning streak, just incredible back-to-back seasons. You've got to be proud.
Oh, definitely proud, man. You know, when I was done playing at UCF, I thought 12-1 would be something that would be hard to get by. And then 2 or 3 years later, there they go doing their thing. So it was definitely a proud moment. A lot of those guys I go back and see all the time, so I was happy to see them have success too.
Could you have ever imagined that the UCF team that you played on would evolve into this perennially ranked top 20, top 10 team?
You know, I always thought that we could be in that conversation, but I definitely didn't think it would be this fast. You know what I mean? So I thought it would be later on in life, but to see it happen, to see us grow this fast is definitely a good accomplishment for UCF.
And you still get to cheer on the Knights. Talk about times you've been back to see them since you left the program.
Oh yeah, I go back often. I was staying in Orlando for a little bit after my senior year, so I got to go back and work out and see those guys train and practice and all that. So came back for the FAU game this past season, and it's always a good time just to go back to Spectrum and see those guys ball out.
Jordan, the reason why we're talking to you is this new thing called the Apollos. Tell us a little bit about it and tell us about your experience. You're out at training camp right now. Just fill us in on the whole thing.
Oh, man, it's been a great experience so far. We've been treating us really well out here in San Antonio, been having some really great practices with a lot of familiar faces, a couple of UCF guys out here, and then a lot of trash talk with some of the other Florida teams because that's where this team is where they're all allocated to. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of competition, and I think it's going to be a really good league. And just to be able to be back in UCF Stadium playing in front of all those fans again, it's going to be a really great thing.
What's it like working under Coach Spurrier? That has to be a big deal.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. It's been a whole lot of fun, man. He has a lot of different intricacies in his offense, and we've all been having a really good time with it, and it's helping me learn more about the game as well. And it's just been a really good experience so far.
When you first heard about this league, what did you think? What attracted you to wanting to try out for the team?
Well, what attracted me the most is Orlando is like my second home. So just being able to come back and play for a professional team in that city, that was the biggest attraction there. And then seeing all the big name coaches and the people that were involved with the whole situation made me want to come back as well to help perfect my craft and help me get back to where I want to get to as well.
You're early on in training camp, so you don't have a good barometer of the other teams, but as best you can tell, how would you describe to a fan the quality of play and the level of competition and the players in this league?
I think it's going to be great competition. You know, a lot of these guys have, been roster bubble guys in the NFL or guys that've been in the NFL for multiple seasons. So it's a lot of talent, especially with our team, a lot of speed, and a lot of guys who just really love the game. So I think it's going to be a great show for anybody that wants to watch.
So you were involved in the NFL a little bit as well. Are there differences, between what you guys are doing with the Apollos? And I know there's differences, obviously, but what's it like comparatively?
Comparatively, it's really similar, man. Training camp has been it's been really long days, just like it is in the NFL. Tough practices, going against a lot of good talent all the time. Regardless who's getting subbed in or subbed out, you got to make sure you bring your A game every snap because it's just so much talent here. Because a lot of these guys, like I said before, have been in the NFL and made plays on Sundays or been close to making plays on Sundays. So it's definitely a good parameter for where you are at personally with your skill set. So I've just been having a great time out here.
I know there's a few rules differences. They want to make it a little bit different than the NFL. Can you talk about any of those?
Some of the rule changes I know for a fact, and I'm still learning on the go as well. But I know there's not any kickoffs. We're just going to start the ball at the 25. Defensively, there can't be any all-out blitzes or anything. You can only send 5. So I think it's tapered more toward the offensive game. That's all I know right now.
That's cool. That's a lot. To ask a player that's new about rules. I understand that, but it sounds like they want to make it a safe game, and it sounds like they want to make it a little bit more of a speedy game. It seems like there's a lot of very fast players on these teams, even some Olympic sprinters and stuff like that. So that should be, a bit more interesting, personally.
I remember Coach O'Leary talking a lot, and you alluded to it. About 2% of kids that play on Saturdays make it to playing on Sundays, and you mentioned bubble guys. I mean, you're playing with a lot of the guys that were 54th, 55th, 56th, just those last round of cuts. The quality of play should be good.
Yeah, definitely. I think it really is going to be. And a lot of these guys are, guys who love the game and are maybe a little bit upset about not getting that chance yet to play on Sundays. And so they're all fighting for that to showcase their talents in this league, so they can hopefully get that call up and get that chance again. So it's just going to be a whole bunch of guys who are already talented, who have a chip on their shoulders and want to come out and really showcase their talents in front of everybody.
Yeah, what are they telling you as players about maybe having a chance to play in another league? Is this in the NFL? Is this what this league is about, is trying to get people back into the NFL or to the NFL?
Yeah, that's a lot of the guys' goals here, and the coaches know that. A lot of these guys are young players who've been out of the league for maybe 1 year, 2 years, so they're trying to work their way back up. And that's one of the selling points that the coaches try to sell to us is, if you play well here against this type of talent, there's a good chance that we will get a chance to go back up to that level. And then now that we've had a little bit more time to groom ourselves and fix the problems that we had that got us cut before, that we'll get a chance to hopefully stick and land on those teams.
Back to Coach Spurrier, tell us more about what it's like to be in a training camp with him and your other coaches.
It's been great. It's so many offensive minds here. Like Jimmy Ray Stevens, our offensive line coach, Todd Washington, offensive line coach as well. Just being able to pick their brains. Todd was in the NFL for 8 years and coached for about 6. And Coach Jimmy Ray has been coaching for 42 years, I believe he said. So it's a great staff they put together here. And a lot of knowledge is being put out. And just being able to soak up all that. Coach Spurrier as well. It's been a really great thing.
What do you think we can expect from the Apollos? What style of play?
I definitely think it's going to be a fast style of play. We have great athletes, so a lot of big plays and just smart, accountable football.
If you're going to play in UCF's home stadium, fast and offensive may be the way to go. I mean, I think fans in Central Florida are accustomed to seeing hurry up and go and score, and so the bar has been raised on the Apollos.
Yeah, the standard has been set for the stadium, so we're just trying to match it and keep the fans happy there.
Our play clock may go a little bit faster than other people's do in other stadiums. I'm not sure, but what's it been like to play with some of your guys that you played with at UCF again?
Oh man, it's been great. Chris Martin, Aaron Evans are on the offensive line with me. Just being able to bond with those guys and strap it up with those guys again and go to battle with them has been amazing. And Speedy, Jeff, Shaquan, Tony Garrard, it's been really fun. That's the guys that we hang with a lot of the times outside of meetings, and kind of feels like home again. Since we've been doing it for such a long time beforehand, just getting back to it.
UCF especially talks about like the brotherhood and familyness of UCF football, and I would assume that is still around with those guys that you played with as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of the guys I played with in my time at UCF, we still talk to this day. Like Rashad and Torian Wilson and Joey Grant. Just a lot of those guys we keep good contact and make sure that we're always involved with each other's lives, no matter what we have going on. So it definitely stemmed from outside of UCF, but we built a lot of those relationships that's going to last for a lifetime there.
You mentioned trash talking with some of the guys from other state teams. That's one of the things the Alliance is really trying to do is build rosters that are regional. What's the situation with guys from that team over in Tampa? Any on the roster at this point?
Yeah, there's a couple. They're some pretty decent guys. I won't fault them for the decision that they made when they're 18 to go to medical. But it's definitely a lot of trash talk with those guys.
Well, you might just remind them that if they want to see that War on I-4 rivalry trophy, it's just a couple of feet away over at the the football offices.
Yeah, I'll definitely show it to them as often as I can, seeing as they haven't seen it in a while.
You can show them the Fiesta Bowl trophy that you helped earn as well, right?
I can show them a lot of trophies that they don't have. We could be on the phone for hours if we wanted to have this combo, but we'll just leave it at that.
Nice.
Well, we're joking a little bit, but there is truth in that. This program has sustained winning now. There's a lot of hardware in that trophy cabinet.
Mm-hmm. And, I make sure I tell everybody about it, man. I'm just so proud of the school that I chose to go to and how they're succeeding now and the successes that we had there when I was there as well. So I'll be the first one to brag about anything UCF.
Do you have any other family members that could possibly play for UCF? Because, there's been at least 3 of you, right?
Yeah, Cliff, Justin, and then myself. But that's it for right now. We'll probably have to wait a couple more years before my nephew's ready to commit to UCF.
So what's the dream for you? I mentioned in the intro that you keep the dream alive of playing professional. What do you hope to achieve out of this season, and where do you think it can prove as a springboard?
Well, while I'm here, I want to make the absolute most of it. So I want to win every game that we play in, want to win the championship, and want to get better at my craft. And ultimately, I just want to show to the NFL that I'm a versatile offensive lineman, can play multiple positions, and just get a chance to get back in camp, because I feel like I'm a much better player than I was a couple of years ago, my last stint with the Panthers. And I just want to showcase my talent just like everybody else here wants to.
And that's just yet another reason why there may be a market for another league, and this one being in the spring. It gives guys opportunities and gives fans in Central Florida who are chomping at the bit for football after the UCF season to continue to watch and especially identify with former Knights.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a great thing. It's not going to be any other football being played at the time, and then it's not just going to be some other startup league where people are just running around like heads cut off, not knowing what's going on. It's going to be organized. It's going to be fast, fun football with a lot of good players. So it'll be definitely a good show to watch.
And you're used to winning, so the bar is raised for the Apollos. You're used to championships and winning. You might want to remind your fellow teammates that what's expected when you play in Orlando.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've been speaking to those guys every day, making sure we're going hard in practice, and just so people know that, this isn't just for fun. We're all having a good time here, but the most fun you're going to have is when you're winning, so that's what we need to be doing.
And training camp goes on for a couple of more weeks. The Apollos season opener, it's just around the corner.
Yeah, just around the corner, February 9th, at Spectrum, man. It's going to be a blast.
All right, man. We cannot wait. We will be out there cheering you on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us. I know you're busy out there.
No problem at all. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, well, that was cool to talk to Jordan McCray.
I'm excited
Very
about this
cool.
spring
Very
league.
well-spoken dude. And, him and his brother and his cousin or his other brother I think it was his other brother. There was 3 of them. They were really good players and great Knights. So it's nice to see them doing this. Nice to talk to them. We're going to have more Apollos players. There's quite a few UCF guys on that team, so Knight Nation really should go out there and support those dudes. Speedy, Rennell Hall, Shaquan Burkett, Chris Martin,
Tony Gerard.
Yeah. Who else? A couple other guys.
Yeah,
So.
they're in camp now, as he mentioned, in San Antonio. So they've got roster cut downs. They've got 75-man rosters. They got to cut down to 53, I think it is.
Oh, do they carry a 53?
I think they're 53 as well. That right around the corner, a week after the Super
Aaron
Bowl.
Evans is out there, too. Yeah.
Week after the Super Bowl. So they'll
Very cool.
debut, and Orlando's the first game in the league. So,
And that's the one that's on national television
Yeah.
that night on CBS or Day or whatever.
I was a big fan of the USFL.
Yeah.
I liked the XFL when it was on. I followed the Arena League.
I don't think any of them have done it the way these guys are going to do it, though.
But there's the XFL is also slated to begin play in 2020. I don't know whether there's room for 2
I haven't
leagues.
heard anything about that recently.
They announced their cities. And
Orlando is not one of them.
No,
right?
Tampa has a team, though. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, well. All right. Well, Knights in the NFL. I already talked about Clayton Geathers. He had a great game against the Kansas City Chiefs, but not good enough, obviously. And New Orleans Saints this week, Josh Robinson and Traquan Smith. I think Traquan had one catch for
15 yards.
15 yards.
I was at the men's basketball game. A lot of people posted on Twitter about how he made some key blocks in that game.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see much of the game.
Yeah, I didn't get to see
tail end of
I did get to see that they won and they're moving on. So that's good.
Be nice to have some Knights in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Men's basketball continues to roll, picks up the win Sunday over ECU. We're talking about the now 13-2 Knights with Ben Stout. Knightline, check us out right now at knightlinesports.com.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also, check out The Little Greek's newest location at 6536 Old Brick Road in Windermere, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. This segment is brought to you by Scouted, the app where athletes of all ages get exposed, discovered, and recruited. Download for free on the Apple Store or Google Play and get discovered today.
All right, UCF men's basketball keeps winning. Oh, really? All of basketball just keeps winning.
I know.
By the
That's
way.
awesome.
We'll talk about the women coming up in a bit. The men with the 76-65 win over ECU Sunday at the arena. UCF improves to 3-0 in the American, only undefeated team in the American. We'll talk a little bit about the standings after we talk with Ben. And UCF 13-2 overall. UCF struggled a little bit in the second half. ECU outscored them 39-38. Let's hear from Coach Dawkins talking about the overall win for the team 8 days after playing their last game.
You know, we've been off for a number of days, and we played a good ECU team, a team that's been playing very well. They've been playing very hard. And that was evident tonight. You know, I thought our guys, you know, especially in the first half, established, you know, momentum or tempo that we wanted. And we were going to Taco. I thought Taco probably had one of his best halves of the year. And that really got us established offensively, and I thought he did a great job for us defensively. And the second half, you know, you give them credit. You know, they keep coming, they keep fighting. And the young man Gardner is one of the best freshmen I've seen this year. I mean, he's relentless. And their team, you know, the team follows suit. They all play hard. And I think he's one of the ringleaders in that with his effort, his energy, and his playmaking ability.
Some of that energy off the bench. Chad Brown, the senior, 8 rebounds, 9 points in 25 minutes.
Well, I try to do every night, you know what I'm saying, just bringing in the energy, you know, being the tough guy, doing the little things, you know, getting offensive rebounds, you know, getting second chance shots for our team, you know, defending and things like that, man. That's my job to do every night for this team, you know, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And, you know, I was able to, you know, be the beast that I am tonight and was able to crash the glass, and that's something I'll continue to do.
He does indeed crash the glass. Yeah. That is his signature thing, are those monstrous dunks. Aubrey Dawkins with 18 points, leading scorer for UCF. And, you know, this was a very physical game, Andrew, if you watched some on TV and certainly the environment in the arena. And that is what you can expect the Knights to face in conference play, and Aubrey talks about that.
It's conference play. That's what it's all about. Teams are going to fight. Nobody going to give up out there. Dudes are going to, you know, as long as that clock's ticking, this game will be played, and dudes aren't going to give up until the final buzzer.
You know, it's a little bit different, by the way, talking to former UCF men's basketball player Ben Stout on the phone and interviewing him as I did at the game. Because he's a bit taller. He's a bit taller than me. So I'm used to, you know.
Were you standing when you did this?
Yeah, I should have stood on the chair that was standing next to me.
The band was playing, so you guys will hear a lot of the band.
Was there any tractors?
I don't think so.
Any door slamming?
You can hear Eric Kohler in there a couple times, and you can hear the band quite loudly. So should we play that here, and we'll just see. Sorry about the quality here, but it was live and in the moment, which is cool, I think.
UCF moves to 3-0 in league play, 13-2 overall, 76-65 over ECU at the arena this Sunday. Joining me now, former UCF men's basketball player Ben Stout, who's inside the paint here at the CFE arena. ECU hung around a little bit longer than we thought they would.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I mean, we've got to do something about the defensive lapses, or really the lulls on offense that we're getting in the second half here. I mean, we started out the second half strong like we usually do. I mean, I think Aubrey went on about a 10-2 run himself. He scored about 10 points to open up the second half, and we stretched the lead. But then all of a sudden, got a little sloppy on offense, started missing some shots, and then Jalen Gardner on their team just kind of took over for them. And so we got to do something about these lapses, on offense and sometimes on defense in the second half, where we just let these teams hang around, because in my opinion, ECU had no business being in this game with us, after the first half, and it's unfortunate that it was closer than it was. So.
8 days off since the last game. Can you have too much rest at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so. It is a really strange, break when you get 2 games in conference, and all of a sudden you have to wait 8 games until your next. There's going to be a huge stretch of games coming up here where they're going to play a lot on the road in a short period of time. So it is a strange rest. I don't think that anything that happened in the second half was attributed to that, but it is a weird rest, especially once you get conference started.
Again, the team struggles from the free throw line. At some point, you feel if that doesn't turn around, that's got to catch up with them.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit worried in the once that it was about 8 minutes left in the second half, when both teams were in double bonus, and you felt like they could try to take advantage of that, and we could be in for a long night. Luckily, I think they struggled a little bit from the free throw line as well. The other team did, but yeah, again, we continue to talk about it, because you worry about it against a team that's a little bit higher quality than ECU, where, again, they can always hang around, and they can feel like they can hang in the games with us, because we are not a very good free throw shooting team overall. So I think the most liability with our free throw shooting is our big man, and they were making sure that whenever Colin, whenever Taco, whenever Chad Brown touched the ball, they were hacking them. So they were putting those guys on the line, and that's what hurt us overall.
Another good performance for Terrell Allen. What do you like about his game?
Yeah, I think he's been exceptional this year. I think he's been one of the most important players on our team, and one of the most underrated players on our team, because he doesn't get the attention that the other players, Aubrey, BJ, and Taco do. I think it's probably the most brilliant move by Coach Dawkins to insert him into the starting lineup this year and move BJ to a more shooting guard spot, playing him off the ball. I think it's been a brilliant move, and like I've said before, he's really the straw that stirs our drink for us. He really runs our offense well. He's top 10 in the nation, I believe, still in assist to turnover ratio. So he's taking care of the ball and distributing it well, and he's a great pass first point guard with the scores that we have on our team. It's fantastic to have him in the starting lineup and playing so well.
Chad Brown bringing good energy again off the bench.
Yeah, he's my wife's favorite player on the team. He's just fantastic. He's everything that you would want in a backup center, or really just any player coming off the bench. You'd want somebody to bring that energy. He's 100% full go every time he steps on the floor for the entire time he's on the floor, and 4 stretches there with his great rebounding. He carried us for a little bit in the second half when we needed it. So he got us extra chance opportunities, and that energy has been fantastic for him. It was good to see him have a good game today.
They defend the home court this Sunday. Now an unusual little short road trip. They leave Tuesday, Wednesday, 10 o'clock Eastern start at Wichita State. What's the challenge of a quick turn like that to go on the road?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for them. I mean, Wichita State, they've fallen short in a few games this year, but they're still a tough team, and going to Wichita State. It's going to be a tough environment. It's a weird start, 10 o'clock Eastern. It's a strange timing for that kind of start. So I'm sure Coach Dawkins is going to get them prepared well, and hopefully they can go up there and take care of business.
What's your final word today? They moved to 13-2 overall, 3-0 in conference play. You got to like it no matter how they get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Being 3-0 in this conference at this point, I think it was, is this 7 in a row or maybe 8 in a row? I don't know if we've had that type of streak since 2010, I believe. So it's a great start to conference. After the last loss at Missouri, kind of picking it back up, and you can see the chemistry that we've been looking for a while. We've had a good 4 or 5 game stretch where you can really see us gelling together. We had some lapses this game, but overall we jumped on them early, and that carried us throughout the rest of the game. So I'm liking what I'm seeing, and as I keep saying, this is a tough conference, but I'm excited for what our team brings to the table, and I think they can compete and hopefully wind up number 1 in the conference.
A lot of ambient noise.
Yeah, it was very ambient. It's all right, though. Like I said, I think it was pretty cool. It just, could have been a little clearer or whatever. But I know that you had to get into different spots fairly quickly, so it's all
down
good.
To the post game. UCF 3-0, only undefeated team in the American. Taking a look around the rest of the American, Houston 3-1. They just experienced a loss to Temple recently. Cincinnati's 3-1. Cincinnati's loss was to ECU.
Yeah.
So it shows you, the competitiveness of the league. Temple, UCF beat them earlier, 3-1. SMU 3-1. Memphis, they get the win over Tulane Sunday. They are 3-1. Cows are 2-2. But I'll tell you what, that is a markedly different Tampa team.
Yeah,
they're a lot better, as is ECU. Tulsa, which comes
last night, I'll tell you, last night I got this alert on my phone, see if unranked USF can pull it off. I'm like, okay, well, what? They're playing Gonzaga?
No.
Well, just wait. I'm going to tell the story.
Yeah.
So I flip on the TV real quick. I'm like, wow, USF, was playing. It was University of San Francisco, USF. But that's how ESPN put out the alert. So the real USF was playing Gonzaga last night. I don't know the details of who won or whatever, but it was comical, at least.
I had a business trip to San Francisco and driving in whatever streets downtown. They had the banners on the flagpole, on the light poles, USF, and I was standing next to a guy at a trade show, and he went to USF in San Francisco.
I remember
and was
this
annoyed.
story.
He was annoyed with the Tampa team.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why they wanted to change to South Florida or something like that. I'm not sure. But we, officially call them.
That's right. UCF now has Tuesday travel for a Wednesday 10 o'clock Eastern time start at Wichita State.
This is a bummer that game is on so late.
Wichita State 0-3.
I have to sleep.
0-3 in the American, 7-8 overall, 5-2 at home though. And Coach Dawkins said tough environment. They'll have the team prepared. That's a kind of a strange. They have the game today, Sunday, late in the day. Tuesday they head out. Wednesday 10 Eastern start. Come back, and then they have a high noon start on Saturday. So they just had this stretch with 8 days off, and now they're going to have a bunch of games.
And their schedule gets crazy at the end of the year, too. We were talking about that last week. It gets crazy. So this team better hold on to their bootstraps, pull up their bootstraps. This one's going to be crazy.
It's funny that 10 o'clock Eastern start now is late for you when you used to be working at that time.
Yeah.
And now you got to.
But now I work at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I have to,
like everybody else.
I know.
Taking a look at your Knightline planner. Men's and women's basketball games on Wednesday. As mentioned, the women welcome Tulsa at 6. The men are at Wichita State, that 10 o'clock Eastern start. Track and field, you're starting to see some things revving up in the spring at the Clemson Invitational beginning the 18th. Women's tennis opens the season on the 18th, welcoming Georgia Southern and Stetson at the UCF Collegiate Tennis Center at the USTA National Campus. Both basketball teams home Saturday the 19th. First tip for the men, high noon with Tulsa. Women play SMU after that men's game. On the 19th, men's tennis opens the season at Arkansas, and then women's tennis hits the road at Florida State on the 20th. Now, I went back into the Wayback Machine and into our vault of archives, which you can find at the website, and pulled out our preseason football predictions. We also fire up the shredder next. Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com. Before the 2018 football season began, at Adam Terra asked us for our predictions. Thought it only fair that we go back and take a look at them. Do you remember some of these when we discussed those?
I do.
Final record was his question, the first question, and who we would lose to, if anyone. You had UCF at 11-1, assuming a 12-game schedule. Of course, we got a game knocked out with a hurricane. And you had that loss being to Memphis. It almost happened.
I know. By 1 point, it didn't happen,
You're a little more on the mark than I. 10-2, Pittsburgh and Memphis.
So I win that one.
You win. Well, I didn't know we
were keeping track.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, now that we are, okay, 1-0. Let's see. I have no idea how that's going to turn out, but I'm interested now in winning. Most points scored. We both said it would happen against South Carolina State. We were both wrong.
I know.
You had 72, I had 70. 56, the correct answer. UCF did it a couple of times. UConn, FAU. And I don't know if the AAC championship game counts.
So what's the total? If they did it 3 times, 56 times 3?
No, that's going to be a push.
So, well, you were closer to the 56, so you win that one.
I win that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
whoever's closest without going over.
All right, that's 1-1. Okay. Most points scored on us. We both thought it would be Memphis. It turned out it was Memphis. Now, my question, I need to look this up then. Does the AAC championship game count, or is it just the regular season? Because that might change things here.
Nah, whatever. You win that one, too, because you chose 48. It was actually 41. So that works.
Your guess was 57.
Yeah, well.
You thought that was going to be one heck of... You
thought
we were going to lose that game.
I
So
did.
you thought it was going to be a high-scoring game.
I thought they were going to whoop us.
Number of sellouts at home. Again, capacity listed at 44,206. You guessed 3. I guessed 4. Correct answer.
It was 4. So you won.
Did not sell out South Carolina State, SMU, or Temple. Final ranking. You're going to win this one. 11th in the AP.
I guessed 8th. You guessed 17th.
Because I thought there'd be 2 losses, so I thought they'd be lower.
So I win.
Yeah, there's that's that one. Conference champion, we each get that. UCF.
We each get points.
Average points per game. You thought UCF would average 56.
I was going on the year before, kind of.
I thought 48. Actual 43.2.
So you win that one, too?
Jeez. You're going to win this one, though, right? Which bowl we play and its outcome? Well, you were right on. I went back and listened. I was way off. I thought we could go back to this Peach Bowl. Of course, I didn't know Florida's athletic director would intervene in that.
Yeah.
Because that's where UCF should have played.
I thought we were going to play in the Fiesta Bowl versus Alabama and beat them.
Yeah.
We did play in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
So I get this one.
You're going to get that one?
Even though we dropped that one.
And then there will be no answer for this one. So I'm going to win. I won. The answer, the question was freshman of the year.
I said Randy Charlton.
I said Dylan Lester.
Dylan Lester did not play hardly, though, because I believe that he got hurt, right? He only played 3 games. So I actually win that one.
I actually think it's fair because
Charlton played, most of the year. So
5-5.
Oh, really? We tied?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that worked out.
Perfect. All right, well, that's good.
Well,
I like it. I like it when we're each half right.
All right.
That makes one full right, I guess, right?
All right, time to fire up the shredder. Looking at some of the, these are interesting, proposed, the coaches, American Football Coaches Association had their convention. They proposed some new rules.
This can't be good.
That, again, just proposals.
Yeah.
So, which
are all these rules different rules?
These are 3 things that they have proposed.
All right, I'm taking this one first.
Okay, well, I think you'll like this one. They want to break up targeting.
Oh, okay.
Into targeting 1, which would be called if there is no malicious intent by the player, that would be a 15-yard penalty.
Oh, good.
Targeting 2 would be called if there is malicious intent by the player. That would be a more severe punishment than a 1-game suspension if the player has been flagged for multiple targeting 2 penalties during a season.
Oh, that's interesting. So they carry it on the entire season. They would have to keep track of every single player, how many times that they were...
If this rule were in place, Kyle Gibson would not have left the game.
I like this rule. So that one's not going in the shredder. I like that one. We'll see. Maybe none of these will go in the shredder. You never know.
This is... there you go.
Okay, let's take this one here.
Kickoff rules.
Oh, boy. This is probably going to go in the shredder.
Let
me guess. They want to do away with kickoffs completely.
No, not yet. I don't think so. The new rule, which is interesting because it really did limit the...
I don't even know what was the difference?
They could fair catch.
Oh, yeah, they could fair catch and it goes to the 25 or whatever, automatically.
The number, according to the Coaches Association, the number of kickoff returns were reduced by 25%.
We did not have one.
The coaches were in favor of the change. They'd like to see it go further. See, this is where the elimination of the kickoff is coming. And, you heard us on the Jordan interview.
Yeah.
He's talking about one of the alliance changes. That's not so much, I think, for player safety at the alliance level.
Speed up the game.
They want to speed up the game.
I'm going to put this one in the shredder.
Well, here's the rule. We haven't talked about it. The double team on the kickoff has become a much more impactful play in relation to the number of injuries that occur to the individual that is getting double teamed or the student athletes who are double teaming. Because of this, the Rules Committee is asking the NCAA Rules Committee to ban any double teams on the kickoff play.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Straight to the shredder, that one. Straight to the shredder. That's ridiculous.
You don't support that?
No, because they're ruining the game of football, personally. Ruining it.
Okay, I left one out, so I'm hastily. This is really a high-tech operation, this shredder. There you go. Transfer rules. This is timely. This is a timely topic. Coaches support the grad transfer, which would allow a student-athlete, regardless if they are a starter or not, to transfer wherever they want, continue on with their education, the master's program of their choice. However, they do not support undergraduate transfers becoming immediately eligible to play.
I like that, in a way. I mean, that would keep players from transferring a little bit, I believe. I think what they want to do is to keep players at their schools. Instead of having everybody transfer all over the place.
But again, the coach can do whatever he wants, and the player can't.
What's that?
The coach can leave.
Well, yeah, but it's not all about...
I mean, look at this guy signs at Temple, and 2 days later, he's the Miami head coach,
I wonder if he had to buy... He had to...
Miami bought that out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I figured. So Temple made a bunch of money.
Temple made the Collins... when he left,
buyout,
yeah, and they got all this money.
And then I wonder what the buyout for this guy was that Miami had to pay.
That's all expensive cup of coffee there.
Hell yeah! I mean, that's awesome though because they made money. And I mean, if somebody screws you over, I was trying to think.
So you support this? You don't want to see the players?
I would,
because it would be like free agency in college
football. I would rather
that
didn't happen. I mean, it's good when you get a transfer, but when somebody leaves to transfer, it's not that good. So, I mean, this one easily could go 50-50, but I don't like transfers, most of them. I just think that's wrong. That's what's wrong with the NFL, personally. That's one of the things there's many things that are wrong with the NFL, but one of them is free agency in the NFL. I grew up in an era where free agency wasn't the thing and players stayed on one team. Some players obviously still do. I mean, there's Tom Brady. I mean, I don't know who else. Ben Roethlisberger has been on the same.
Phillip Rivers.
Et
cetera.
Yeah, so there's a few that have been on the same team, but I think that it gets a little crazy with all the shifting around that happens. So... This one, I like that one.
You're keeping that one? 2 out of 3. No football on Friday nights. You can't read my
What
scribble.
is this?
That's scribble.
Is it? I can't even tell which
Friday night.
direction
It says
it's
Friday
supposed
night.
to. Oh yeah, Friday. I see. Your F is a backwards E.
The Coaches Association would like to see the elimination of college football games on Friday nights. They think it is high school football Friday, and that's it. There were a bunch of games, 35 games on Friday nights during the 2018
that
season.
will never happen because ESPN will not let it happen, guaranteed. So, I mean, I don't know how does that go in the shredder.
I mean, from a football fan's perspective, far more people are going to watch college football on a Friday night than might go to their local high school and watch a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why coaches want to be able to see recruits and such.
I thought one of these would make me mad like last week's did. But
we can bring that one back up.
Well, no, that's all right. Well, it was a little bit of an uneventful. We only shredded one of these, so.
So you're fine with no football on Friday night? Is that it?
Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not fine with it. I would rather not. So this one can go in the shredder, I guess. I'm sorry, I was confused by the technicality of what gets shredded and what does not.
These are not hard and fast rules. It's high tech. Scribble scratches of paper and a shredder.
I could seriously not read that one. I couldn't even tell which direction it went. That was awesome.
All right, well, we'll see what we can come up with again Fire Up the Shredder, since it's very popular.
I need to make some new musical intros. I need a musical intro for this. I need one for Ben.
Do you want controversial things or not? Yeah, I gave you a controversial one last week. You beat that into the shredder, and then this week it's a little less so.
Yeah, I'm a little less controversial today. I had a nice day. So.
Well, here's a question: is it time to start drinking again?
Well, I'll have an answer for that.
That one's coming up in Ask Knightline when Knightline number 177 returns.
Hey, Night Nation. It's Adam from the Sons of UCF. Be sure to check out our show every Wednesday only on the Knightline Sports Network. Now, back to two guys who probably won't be Cow of the Week nominees, Andrew and Trace.
Ask a Knightline is brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Chad is a UCF alumnus and diehard Knights fan. Chad Barr Law handles auto accident, slip and fall, and personal injury cases. Call Chad today at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation. That's 407-599-9036. Armor up and call Chad Barr Law today.
It's that time for Ask Knightline, answering the questions that you pose to us on our Facebook page or via Twitter at the hashtag Ask Knightline. Our good buddy Travis Dever on Facebook sent us a message. How good could this basketball team, men's basketball, be?
They could be as good as their last game. Now they could. I think they could be great. They could be in the tournament, and you never know what happens in the tournament. I love tournament time. That's when late February, early March is when basketball really kicks in as far as I'm concerned. And I think that we talked a little bit about the attendance, I think, a little bit today. I don't know if we talked about that on or off.
Off, yeah.
But
announced attendance, 4,692.
That's weak, folks. That's weak.
NFL playoffs going on.
I know, but it needs to be
Magic
more
home.
than that. There was pleas by the Oviedo mayor and Johnny Dawkins for the place to be packed. Nobody listened, obviously.
There were dogs at halftime catching frisbees
with little boots on to be able to run on the court. That's awesome.
The one thing about
they did show a little bit of that on TV.
Frisbee dogs, people don't want to get out of their seats. They don't want to buy a hot dog. They're just
That's
glued
fine.
to the halftime show.
It's good.
So that's the one drawback. People didn't get up.
The student section was full. I did see that. It was pretty full. From what
there were more people.
The way it looked on TV, it was full. But the rest of the place was pretty weak. And there was some dude sitting behind the ESPN guys trying to be the new stare guy.
With a sunglasses.
It was weak. Weak. Absolutely weak. Dude, they needed to just tell the dude to move. Security should have come over.
Stare guy at a basketball game. Where's he at?
I don't know. Maybe this guy thinks he's the basketball stare guy.
Basketball
but
version.
It's not good. No.
No?
No, it's been done. It's old. It's been done. Dude needs to go away. They should have removed him. I'm shocked that they didn't.
This is rather forceful opinion.
Yeah, they should have. It was bad.
To more specifically answer Travis's question, B.J. Taylor, Taco Fall, Aubrey Dawkins, stronger bench, healthy team. They're a threat in the American and in the conference tournament and postseason.
Speaking,
but that free throw shooting is weak and it's an Achilles heel, and it's going to come back to bite him.
Taco may have actually. I don't know if you caught on to this, but it was on the TV. Taco had a contact problem during the game, and he actually shot one of those free throws that he made. He made one of them with one eye closed. He did.
It's so bad to watch that there's sarcastic applause when he makes one. People just roar when he makes one.
No, well, that's kind of crappy.
We went into this game about 28%.
Well, they need to work on that.
It was 2 of 10.
Did you see the ECU guy that would jump when he makes his free throws? That was a little weird. But the guy on TV, I can't remember who it was, but he was begging for Taco to go and get his glasses. He wanted the goggles back. It was, I can't remember who it was on TV, but
Tell you what he ought to do is he ought to throw him
like,
underhand.
take him to the locker room right now.
He ought to throw him underhand. Why not? Could he? He could do 2 out of 10 that way.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's not working.
Yeah, they need to work on that.
Jeez, it's not working.
He just needs to stand there and shoot him for 20, 30 minutes.
He does, and Coach Dawkins says in the postgame sessions all of the time that they shoot their free throws pretty well in practice, but it doesn't translate.
Pretty well.
Pretty well.
Well, it's pretty well not enough.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis, for your question.
Yeah, have we gotten a question before from Travis?
I don't know. Well, we need
I
more.
like that. Yeah.
We need to have Travis back during this. We need to have some of those type people.
We're opening the... You went a little squirrely after 3 straight weeks of doing it one time.
Well,
you were a little squirrely.
Yeah, that was a little...
Who's showing up now?
Yeah. Well, we few and far between. But Travis... and
there's a whole host of people.
Travis, Chad Barr, these
all
people.
Kinds of people.
Maybe the Tasty Gravy folks. Who knows?
Kinds of people. At Fear the Pegasus with an interesting question that I don't believe we have a good answer for. What happened to Dante Culpepper? Earlier in the week, Blake Bortles had a photo taken that was all of social media with Mackenzie Milton and talking about some of the great quarterbacks.
Have you seen Dante Culpepper lately?
He's
a big dude.
He's put on a few pounds.
He looks like he could be an offensive lineman the last time I saw him. And that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
You saw him in person? Or?
Yeah, he was at a UCF game 2 or 3 years ago. That was the last time I've seen him.
I remember eating at his the restaurant.
You were one of
his name.
the few people.
Maybe we ought to ask Kyle about that. He had association.
He was
with Dante.
involved in that.
Yeah, in that restaurant operation.
Didn't work very good.
No. I'd love to talk to Dante. I wish he was closer to the program.
Yeah.
Than he
I don't
has
know.
been.
Not really.
At L Bar 87, just talking about Danny White proposing a plan of fundraising to renovate the athletics village. She's noticed other programs, Cincinnati namely, making a lot of renovations to their basketball center alone. Do you think we're settling for lesser quality for the sake of upgrading now, or is it due to lack of outside funding? I would say this. Cincinnati's basketball arena significantly older than UCF's. I mean, dates back a while, and UCF's is still it's just a little over 10-year-old building. So the need for renovations, UCF has done very well riding on that 25-game winning streak to bring in dollars. So I don't think it's settling for lesser
confused.
quality.
Is she saying that we should?
She just wonders if
upgrade?
we're falling behind a program like Cincinnati in terms of renovations.
I think Cincinnati has substantially more money than we do. Personally,
it's the age of the program.
Yeah.
And UCF, a lot of the buildings are newer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have a pretty aggressive plan when it comes to building construction, from leadership centers to the nutrition center. And
yeah, they've been doing pretty good. I mean, I think they're really going to be worried about making that stadium bigger one of these days. I think that's one of the things that they're really going to have to worry about, personally. I guess you could raise the roof on the arena if you absolutely had to later on in life too. I don't know.
This is not going to happen. This is at Eric C. Henry _. What are the chances Danny White could simultaneously be the AD at UCF and take over the GM role of the Magic and Orlando City Soccer? I like that, just because
all of them.
He'd have the Midas touch, He could elevate all the brands.
He could just fix Orlando in general.
Orlando
we don't
City
want him,
could borrow him for a while.
We're not loaning him to anybody.
I like the concept, though.
I think he has a do not compete clause in his contract. If not, I'm going to talk to somebody.
But this goes to show you how well he is thought of.
Absolutely.
From branding and marketing and fundraising and success.
Yeah.
He's certainly shown the success, as we've well documented, in the hiring of coaches.
Absolutely.
And both
he's
Orlando
awesome.
City and the Magic could use someone of his intellect.
I've been looking forward
skill
to
set.
this next question. I actually did read these questions beforehand, and
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Looking forward to
At
this one.
Manny Amores, you remember Manny. Remember the
Yeah.
week Manny sent in 5 questions?
Yeah. Isn't he the one that asks kind of random questions?
No, he
sometimes?
asks good questions.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Who's the random? I can't remember.
Is UCF in the P5 yet?
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one
We
where
haven't
you're
heard-
trapped on a desert island.
We haven't heard from him in a
No,
while. Come
no.
on, man.
Yeah.
What's up?
Manny's question, been a while since I've heard you gents drinking, sampling beers on the show. Is now a good time to start again? Going to be a long time till our next game.
Well, here's the deal. My liver is starting to recover after football season right now. It's in recovery mode. So it may, I don't know, maybe one beer or something.
I
but-
think we found, though, that when we were doing this, that we have different tastes in beer.
Well,
so
we do.
Getting one kind, if I brought an IPA, you kind of turned your nose up at it. And when you rolled out the stouts, I was like, eh.
And that's all pretty much that I have in
Yeah.
my refrigerator right now. In fact,
So
when
it's hard for us to imbibe of the same brew.
when
Is that the right
Roger
phrase?
Nightbingle came over and watched the Fiesta Bowl with me, we had a Stoutapalooza. We had a bunch of stouts. Every beer that we drank was a stout, and we still have some left down there in the fridge, in the beer fridge. And I offered maybe for a stout this evening, but you weren't interested.
Yeah.
And I wasn't interested in an IPA.
So this leaves us. What was the time we drank this whiskey or bourbon?
Yeah,
What was
well, we
that?
can do that more. I got more
Well,
stuff.
that was a tough read right after I swigged that.
We should just do a couple shots before every show. I don't know. Yeah, but my liver's recovering. I have to have.
Is that how it works? The
I have
liver
to have
can recover like that?
Absolutely, the liver can grow its own stuff back. I mean,
How many weeks do you need? Months?
Well, I mean, the Apollo season's going to start soon.
You get a tailgate for that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to.
I have friends coming to town for the home opener. They want a tailgate.
Yeah, well,
That'd be night game.
yeah. I don't see why
Against
not.
the legends of Atlanta.
And Justin Holman, right? Isn't he on that team?
Yeah, he's on that team.
That'll be interesting. So, do we root against our guys that are on the Atlanta team?
No. Well, did you root against Clayton Geathers? I mean, you rooted against Indianapolis, but you want to see him do well.
Yeah. No, I didn't root against him. In fact, I was glad that he was doing. He was playing too. He played a great game.
This
Anyway.
assumes Justin wins the job. There's a couple. All these teams have a bunch of quarterbacks in camp. So
Yeah.
and, there's a former Georgia quarterback
He was
their
one of the
quarterback.
ones that they picked, though. Like, he was one of their picks.
You know
So-
who their offensive coordinator is over in Atlanta?
No.
Michael Vick.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I'm going to not make any bad jokes here.
No, we'll wait. We'll wait till closer.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everybody. We try to get to as many questions as we can. Send those in to us every week. We do a show unless the Kansas City Chiefs are playing, and then we don't do shows.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Send them to us on our Facebook page or via Twitter at #AskNightline.
And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. Women's basketball keeps on winning, beating Cincinnati 56-55 Sunday. UCF is 3-0 in the American, 14-2 overall, and a perfect 5-0 at home.
Combined with the men's record, 27-4.
That's awesome
so far. Both teams receiving votes in their respective polls. I'd like to see both teams top 25 ranked soon.
They will be.
Really?
Yeah.
War on I-4 rivalry update. Women's basketball's win at Tampa boosted UCF's lead in the season-long war on I-4 rivalry 27-6.
That's not a rivalry.
They're running away.
Yeah.
With this 27-6.
The cows are running the other direction. Women's tennis opens the season ranked number 20 in the Oracle Intercollegiate Tennis Association rankings. Men's tennis also receiving votes, but isn't ranked yet.
Yet is the key word there. Women's soccer, 2 additions. Molly Rouse comes to the Knights after 2 seasons at Louisville. Nala Turner joins UCF after a season at West Virginia. They join 6 freshmen who are now members of the women's soccer team.
Men's soccer, 5 newcomers. Midfielder Andrew Lizinus out of Olympia High and Windermere. Goalie Bernardo Brando from Brazil. Forward Jose Adelco Jr. from Lake Wales. And a pair of defenders, Itzik Ifrem from Belmont University and Marco Ribeiro from West Orange High in Ocoee.
I'm impressed. I don't know how close those were, but they seemed...
That's what it looked like.
They seemed pretty close. By the way...
Very phonetically. I'm a phonetic speller and a phonetic reader.
In the release from UCF, I don't know what your GPA was in high school, but I got to just share this one with you. One of these UCF men's soccer is a 4.7.
How can you get...
How do you get
more, I guess, extra credit?
Yeah. This is
4.0.
Andrew Lisness from Windermere, went to Olympia High, 4.7.
Isn't 4.0 like the...
Not anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
4.7.
Smart dude.
Men's golf senior Kyler Tate wins the New Year's Invitational at the St. Petersburg Country Club.
And finally, good luck to cheerleading and night moves as they prepare for the College Cheerleading and Dance National Championships beginning January 18th at Wide World of Sports. Cheer finished runner-up last year and has finished in the top 4 in the past 13 competitions. UCF has 2 national titles in cheer, 2013 and 2005.
2003 and 2005.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while,
something
hasn't
like
it?
that.
It's been a while.
I did so well with the names, and then I couldn't read 2003 and 2000.
They're due. They're due.
Yeah, they are. They're awesome. All right, this has been Knightline 177. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and gold, charge right through the line. Victory is our cry. BSETO, our life. Tonight our nights will shine.